Yo, what's up, people? I'm your host, Jay Will, and I would like to welcome you to Inspire God's People, where we balance faith and business to guide you to your purpose. This is episode 243. Clean up your house. It's not too late to change your mind. Yeah, we're gonna talk today. We're really gonna discuss five like tips for 2026, right? Five mindset tips for 2026. Five things that you could do, or five ways that you can think, you know what I mean, to try to ensure that we have a successful 2026. With that said, happy new day, happy new year to everybody out there. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to today's show. If you enjoy this show, please do like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those things. The goal is to give you something that you actually can take practically as a believer, and have a successful year. Hopefully you had a great 2025. I texted a couple of my friends yesterday and told them happy old year. You know what I'm saying? I wrote out this long little, you know, pointless post about how the old year matters, and don't just give up on 2025. It was like 10 hours left in 2025 when I said that. So yeah, I got issues, don't judge me. Let's jump right into today's show. Actually, first, I want to do some. I'm gonna tell y'all like what the reason why I kind of was on this mindset tip to start the year. I got into a Fender Bender. I think about 2 days ago now. I don't know what when you around the holiday times you start losing track of the days. It was after Christmas, sometime after Christmas and before New Year. I think it was 2 days ago. Got into a Fender Bender at the mall. And I want to tell y'all a little bit about what happened and how that led to me getting to this topic for today's show. Um, so it was fresh snow, you know what I mean? For those of us who live in cold places, which I'm getting sick and tired of. It's fresh. It was some fresh snow out in Michigan. I was at the mall, and it really was. It's crazy. It wasn't really snowing by where I live. I went to a mall about 35 minutes away, and when I got out there, it was like, yo, it's snowing like a mug. Like I probably would have stayed home because I really hate the winter. You know what I'm saying? I really do hate the winter. Like I could hibernate the whole time. I don't like going outside. It's cold. It hurts. You can't really, you got to dress just to be warm more so than to be fly. It's just, I don't like pretty much nothing about it, especially when it's really cold and I don't really care for snow. So I'm in the parking lot leaving the mall. This accident happened. We were going 3 miles an hour. So let me just set the stage with that. But I'm making a left, right? And I'm making a left, right? I'm making a left turn. We still in the parking lot. I promise you, I didn't see this lady. And I don't know if I look, you look both ways, look here, look here. By the time I come back and I'm turning, it's like, yo, like, where did she come from? And because it was fresh snow, I got my foot on a brake. You feel what I'm saying? But the car is still sliding. So I slid right into her. It was like her passenger side of her car, my passenger side. Is this a good? I don't know if that's really even a good. That was just a crazy. Like if you listen in on audio, you can't see that I tried to show with my hands like how this accident went. But it was like no, it was low impact, bumper to bumper. The cars kissed on the passenger side of each car, like, and thank God for that, right? And so I'll be honest. I thought it was my fault. Like I thought the accident was my fault. So when it happened, all I'm looking and saying is like, are you okay? Right? Because even though it wasn't like no impact or anything, like people could just be startled just off of the fact of like, yo, you got another car hitting you. We hit each other, but it was like I'm the one sliding. I don't know what she was doing if she didn't stop or whatever. So the windows are still up, but you could see me mouthing to her like, are you okay? And I see her like she going off because I think I rolled my window down. She's going off like she tripping. And I'm like, are you okay? She wouldn't say she was okay. She just going off all this stuff. Now, here was the thing, right? I said to her, I'm like, when she finally rolled her window down, I'm like, I actually think it was my fault. I apologize. Like, are you all right? She finally said she was okay. And, but she's still going off like, oh my God, da da da. And she, I'm calling the police. I was like, yeah, like that's cool. Call the police. Like, Yeah, no problem. Even though technically, if you look at Michigan law, police don't typically respond to parking lot fender benders unless there's like significant damage or something like that, really because of like our no fault laws. And I don't want to act like an insurance agent, but of course, I Googled some stuff and I've been hit in a parking lot before and it was like, it was nothing I can do. Right. And so at the end of the day, this lady's tripping out and she finally gets out the car after she called the police. They not here yet. She gets out the car. She's still a little irate. I stay in my car, but I got the window rolled down. And she looks at her car and she's like, oh, it's actually not as bad as I thought. And she was like, man, all right, cool. And then she's like, but you need to get out and look at yours because mine was a little worse than hers. And I kind of was like, it's all right. Don't worry, whatever. I'm more concerned that, are you good? And then like 10 seconds later, she just flipped back and like made it like her car was so messed up. I was like, man, like your car, I'll say this. Like I sent people because I got a picture of her car. Like if I didn't tell you her car was in an accident, you wouldn't know. If you zoom in, you can see some little scratches under her headlight area because the car's kissed, right? And I think it might even be a small dent. So by no means am I saying like, yo, but my car is worse than hers. Cool. So she like gets on this tip like her car is so bad. And I'm like, the police ain't here yet. And so I was like, ma'am, I think we should just stop interacting. And I rolled up the window. Now for me, this is how I got on this topic of today's show and what we need to be successful in 2026 is a certain mindset because the world is so erratic and so crazy now and so wild that I was looking at this situation and I was like, yo, I see why you see the crazy videos out here and people all wilding out. Everybody is just emotionally spiraling, which I personally see. I'm not saying she don't know God or something like that, but I view it as a showcase of spiritual immaturity, emotional immaturity, when people spaz out and lose their mind. Now, I know we live in a world where people have kind of flipped it, like you're tough or you not to be played with or something if you're acting like erratic. That doesn't showcase any type of power to me personally, right? But I was thanking God that I had the mindset, like, because with everything that's going on in the world, my mindset isn't just to go into situations and overreact, right? Like we were going 2 to 3 miles an hour, and that might like literally like we were making a turn in a parking lot. Like this wasn't like you didn't have no time to speed. It's in snow. So, when I rolled down the window, let me say this. She was like, you didn't even stop. This when she first was tripping. She's like, you didn't even stop. You weren't even sliding. You just kept going. I was like, no, actually, like I stopped. It was, my car was sliding. So I say all of this to say that at the end of the day, this lady was tripping. Police get here and the police ask us to tell our stories. And this is when I changed from thinking it was my fault to realizing I really think this was this lady's fault, right? But I'll tell you why. It's a couple other things I want to say about it. I'll hurry up and get through it. But long story short, she's telling the police the story and she's like, I was parked right here. Now, I've been trying to figure out the whole time, like, did I blank out what happened? How did I making a simple left turn, not see this lady, and all of a sudden she was right here? And it was because I'm thinking, how did she come from my left if I'm going left, right? But what happened was there was some parking spaces right in front of where the corner is at where you turn. She was like, yeah, I was parked right here and I was trying to I just tried to go real quick. And I'm like, oh, so you basically kind of drove in a blind spot for me where you're not to my left or my right. I'm making a left turn. It's a parking space in front of me, but there's no street. There's no reason for a car to come from those spaces. What she tried to do, like, so I'm about to turn left. The reason she came out of nowhere is because she tried to hurry up and speed out of a parking lot. Out of a parking space. She tried to make a turn out of a parking space. So I ended up pulling the officer aside before we left. I was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I thought it was my fault until she told her side of the story. I'm like, she's acting erratic, but actually, like, I genuinely think it was her fault now, right? Based on the story she described. So long story short, officer get our information. Officer pretty much told me, like, the law here is it doesn't really matter who fault it was. Like, nobody's hurt. It's not a major, like, it ain't really nothing. Can't nobody sue each other or nothing like that, right? Long story short, I left out of that situation and I was just like, man, like, imagine if this lady was like a witness for like a real crime that I was like innocent of, but I'm like, this lady is lying to me about me. So the first thing she said was, you didn't hit your brake. You just ran into me. I'm like, that's literally a blatant lie. How would you know if I was braking or not? Like, we're in snow going 2 miles an hour. Now I could see if I was going 50 miles an hour, he's just like, yo, he's just going 50 right into, I'm going 2 miles an hour in a parking lot. And it made me realize, in order to be successful, in order to keep your cool as a believer, in order to progress and be productive in life, you gonna need the proper mindset. And so that's what we're gonna talk about today, having the right mindset. And then also, like, yo, if you don't have the right mindset today, any of us, it's not too late to change your mind. Now, it's not too late to change your mind. That's going to be towards the end of the show. There's a scripture that I want to read and check out that's going to kind of set the stage at the end for us as we think about how do we have a successful, a prosperous year, and we remain in our right mind as believers. You feel what I'm saying? So let's get into these 5 tips for 2026. The show is episode 2243. I can talk, people. I can talk. Clean up your house. All right, so what's the first step? I got some notes over here so I don't forget. The first step, people, first tip for 2026, actually clean up your house. Yeah, the title of the show is Clean Up Your House, and the first thing I want you to do is actually clean up. Now, don't take this so literal, because I know some of y'all think, oh, my house clean. Or some of y'all are like, well, you don't understand these kids in here. Da, da, da. Okay, cool. Whatever your situation is, cleaning up your house might mean, okay, your house clean, but iron your clothes. So let's just be real, right? Some of us have some lazy habits. The idea of cleaning up your house is the first step to getting your mindset right. In my mind, is defeating the laziness of not wanting to change your mind. So there is something that we all do, whether it's you don't iron your clothes, you don't make up your bed when you get out of it, you won't sweep the floor, you won't, like, you leave. I saw a lady this summer, when I was going out for my morning run, littering in front of her own house. Huh? What's going on? What are we doing here, people? What is this? What's this called? Who litters in front of their own house? I'm like, you're going to have to clean that up. Kind of like the lady that was lying to me about me, like I'm not me. Can I be honest? There is something that we all can do to improve our environment, because I believe our environment, our physical environment, the way we carry ourselves, the things that the people we're around, I believe it has an impact on your mindset. And some of us are trying to figure out, why can't I seem to get in the proper mindset? And it's like, just clean up your house. I mean, for me, it might, maybe I should try a pedicure this year. Let me just keep it 100 with you, okay? Like, I mean, you shouldn't need a new pair of socks every 6 weeks. If your toes are actually clawing through the cotton on the sock after 3 wears, maybe you should get a pedicure. Whatever it means for you, people, clean up your house. Because by starting to organize the things in your physical environment, you will start to put yourself in the proper mindset to actually be able to get things done. And I do believe, like, it's like decluttering. Like, it's hard to be productive in a work environment when you have clutter around you. Like, whenever I'm in my studio, it's like, I got things like, hey, it's a camera right here. It's a remote to the light right here. I got the mouse. I got the laptop here. I got, I have everything in a certain place where, I can do things fairly easily because I want to be able to focus on actually doing the show. I don't want to be doing the show worrying about some bug over here on eating the French fry that's on the floor in the corner of my eye. No, it's not really there because I'm clean, right? My house is clean. My point is, clean up your house. Quite literally, whatever that looks like. I'll tell you, I remember, just kind of for me growing up in the hood, one of the things that I kind of hated about the hood at a certain point was like, why do everybody litter? Right? You go to the inner city and everybody's littering. I was like, why? Like, I don't care what injustice is happening. I don't care what level of poverty or whatever. It's like, why are we just throwing McDonald's bags out the windows? Like, you don't have to do that. We can clean up our own house, our own community, right? But, I digress. I remember, though, feeling like I need to get out of this environment where people just won't clean up their own stuff because I want to see something better, because I want to do something better. No shot at the hood, you know what I'm saying? But if you from 7 Mile like me, then you have at least seen somebody 1 or 2 times throw a McDonald's or a Burger King bag fresh out the window. It has happened. I love y'all though. Look, be organized, be intentional, and then you'll be productive. All right, you feel what I'm saying? What up, Tanya? How you doing, sis? Yeah, I might have to go ahead and get the petty. Okay, I went and my nails be all over the place. I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. But I like I've been trying to keep them together. And the lady is like, yo, let me hit you off with the pedicure. I'm just like, I just don't want to put my toes in that water in public. It just, I ain't saying nothing wrong with it, fellas. I'm not hating. I don't have nothing against it. It's just, I don't know. It's something about, when you feeling gritty, you need them toes just to stay gritty, cuz. I'm joking. But go ahead and get the petty. All right. Let's move on to tip number 2 before I lose some people. And that is tip number 2. We're talking about these 5 tips for 2026. Changing your mind. First thing you're gonna do is clean your house. Second thing we need to do is think above the influence. All right, follow me on this one. Think above the influence. So what's the point of that? Just like the accident I was in, right? When I'm seeing people in real life overreact, I'm like, yo, people are actually acting like Instagram reels. So, people share reels and, videos go viral of all these situations. And I actually believe, I'm no scientist, right? I'm no neurosurgeon or nothing. I don't know if I'm right. I'm just telling you what I think. I actually think people are living out the videos they watch every day. So like when this lady gets out the car, or not, before she even gets out, she's erratic. Like we're going 2 miles an hour. Both of us are okay. I'm willing. I'm reasonable. I'm not coming off as a threat or something. It's broad daylight. We're in public. Like there's no reason for you to fear me or something. I'm not being aggressive. I'm like, why is this lady wilding out? She had to have seen that somewhere. My point about thinking above the influence is this. There are things happening around us every single day right now. The world is wilding out. And in order for you to be a successful believer, to have good godly success, and to keep yourself in your peace in order, you are going to have to think above the influence. Now, some of that is going to mean be careful what you're even allowing yourself to watch, but that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do and what not to do. I'm just telling you that if you're going to watch all these videos and all these triggering political things every day, I believe people's spirits are getting charged up like a battery. It's just like you didn't watch 100 videos of something and you like, woo, if that was me, you know how y'all are. Y'all watch. I'm saying y'all on this one. I usually say us and all that. No, I don't be doing that. I'm sorry. Y'all be out here like y'all watching all this stuff. And then you charged up like that wouldn't be me if that was me in that situation. And what happens is the devil like, ooh, let's drop you in that situation. Let's tempt you real quick. And you get in that situation and you lose your mind because you done watched all these videos and you got charged up and you can't even think above the influence. You feel what I'm saying? You got to think above the influence. I believe that we all make a decision on the type of person that we want to be. I really do. Nobody's life is perfect. It's not like the people who you think life is perfect, like their life isn't perfect. My life definitely isn't perfect. I'm as normal as the next person. You feel what I'm saying? And so my thing is like, I got to make a decision. Like I want to be this type of person, right? And then when you make that decision, you don't decide what kind of person you want to be when you're in the situation, is what I'm trying to say. You have to already know who you are before you get in a situation. So before I got into that little Fender Bender, I had to already be the type of person I was. You don't make the decision in a highly tense situation where somebody's erratically hollering at you and stuff in public and losing their mind over something small. You don't make the decision in that moment that you're not going to be a person that overreacts and lacks emotional intelligence. It's something that you prepare for. It's something that you tell yourself and you work towards. You think above the influence all the time. So what am I saying? When you think above the influence, make a decision that I'm not going to be this type of person. I'm not going to live this type of wild, crazy, emotionally out of order life that I see happening around me. But you don't want to be so arrogant that you can't have correction, right? So I'm not telling us to be so strong in our thought that even people that you love and trust can't come to you and be like, "Hey, Jay Will, you kind of like you, I don't know, man, like you coming off a certain way." Cool, that's cool. Don't be so arrogant that you're above correction, but don't be so passive that you can't take action without agreement. Some of us, I believe, we want people to like us so much. We want to be in the in crowd so much that we just acting like other people. We're saying what other people think. Oh, this is what the crowd think. Oh, whatever you are. Oh, I'm young and white. I have to say this. I'm young and black. Oh, you got to say this. Nah, bro, think above the influence. Figure out who God called you to be and be that. All right, moving along. Tip number 3. Talking about a successful 2026. If you're enjoying this content, whether you're watching it live or later, like it, share, subscribe, comment, tell somebody about it. Check us out on YouTube, Inspire God's People. What's 3? Oh, 3. The third tip for a successful 2026 as a believer is endure the challenges. This is a tough one. Endure the challenges. What is my point? I don't believe we should come into a new year, a new day, a new moment, and have unrealistic expectations. Because to be honest, that's one of the things that set us up for failure. And that's why I think a lot of times we do real good the first 2 weeks of the year. Yeah, I'm going to do this, all these new things. And you didn't prepare yourself for potential challenges. And so when they happen, you can't endure them and you give up and you just go back to your old ways. But it's not too late to change your mind. So I believe that we should understand that challenges in life happen. So if you're a person, like I've gone through a journey of trying to be healthy for a long time, right? And I always hit a wall, right? This time last year, I was, like November last year up until like Thanksgiving, I was solid. I was like on the right path where I need to go. Then I fell off all winter long. And I struggled to get back last summer. I struggled to get back to where I was the previous year. Now I'm, 70% back. I feel like to where I was, but it's a challenge. It's a struggle. My point is, in that struggle is days like that. If I want to go run, like it's hard to go run. It's days that, I don't feel like eating right. Like I just want some candy that day. I kind of wilded out a little bit yesterday, if you want me to be honest. And I know the stuff that make me fat and out of shape. And those chips, my hand was in that bag yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I was in my bag, my chip bag. And I knew like you gonna pay for this, bro. This is why you're fat and sloppy and out of shape. Talking about me. I'm not talking about nobody else. I'm talking about me. This is why you're fat and sloppy and out of shape. This is why you're skinny fat, because you got you in your bag, your chip bag. What's my point? I have accepted the challenge that I'm going to endure when I hit these walls on my journey of health on these days in the winter. I hate the winter, y'all. If I lived in Florida, I feel like I would literally be out here like in optimum shape if I was in Florida, just because I can go outside, run. When it's sunny outside, I feel better, man. I wake up in the winter feeling like an old car, bro. You ever had a car that you need to go heat up and turn on and let it sit out there and run for a while before you drive it? I know y'all got these new cars now where you got an app and you're starting up your car from your phone and you just hit a button and look at that. I have keyless, what is it? A keyless starter, automatic, whatever. I don't even know what it's called. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not as modern as y'all. I got to take the key out and turn on the car and let the heat run. And that's how I feel as a human being living in Michigan in the winter. And you want me to work out and stay healthy? No, I'm going to tell you what I feel like in the winter. I feel like just sitting in the house, eating candy and cake and ice cream all day in my pajamas, and doing nothing. I don't like leaving the house in the winter because I hate the cold. But for some reason, my grandparents and my wife's grandparents and people uh, migrated up here from Alabama and Mississippi and all these warm places. Well, again, no offense if you're from those places, you know what I'm saying? I believe they had reason to come on up north. But at the end of the day, here I am. My family's here, so I don't want to just leave them, but I will find a way. I will find a way to get out of here in the winter. I know that was a lot. Pastor Pinkins, what's up, sir? Talking about 5 tips to have a successful 2026. Right now, we're talking about enduring your challenges. Don't give up at the first sign of resistance. Some of us, at the very first sign of resistance, we ready to give up. I'm telling you, whatever the things are right now that you made up in your mind, in 2026, I'm going to do this. In 2026, I'm going to do that. Do not give up at the first sign of resistance, but understand that resistance will come. There will be a day if you're trying to work out that the cupcakes keep having a commercial and you in a store and you see the cupcake and you just bought it. I broke down and bought the cupcake the other day, y'all. I just got to confess. I bought the cupcake, okay? I bought the pack of Reese cups. I really did. And I had the nerve to buy a king size and it's gone already. That's 4 cups. You don't want to look at the nutritional facts on the back of a king size Reese cup. It's probably 200% of the sugar that you need this week. I ate it in one day. This is why you're fat, sloppy, and out of shape, but we're going to endure. 70s food. I'm not mad at that. It's unrealistic to think that it's going to be easy. Whatever the thing is that God called you to do, whatever the thing is that you are going to accomplish this year, whatever you're going to overcome, it's unrealistic to think that it's going to be easy. So tell yourself it's going to be some tough days. It's going to be some rough days. I might have to start up the engine before I go running, but I'm going to do it and I'm going to endure these days. That's what I'm committed to for myself. I'm trying so hard. I really am. I'm proud of myself for some of the progress, some of the growth. And that's really what it's about. It's about making incremental growth and progress. You know, it's challenging sometimes to get there overnight, right? This last thing I wrote down, and then we get to the next tip. Happen to life. Don't just let life happen to you. I know that for a lot of us, there's, certain things. Life happens, life be lifing. We have these mindsets that like, yo, man, life is just lifing. And I'm not saying it's not. I've probably said it on this show, right? I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying, yeah, life will happen. Make sure you happen into life as well. What do I mean by that? Like, wake up in the morning and say, yo, I'm going to have momentum towards the life I want to live today. I'm not just going to wait and see what's life going to give me today? Okay, a mean lady after Christmas that wants to go off on me after having a Fender Bender, right? Or a Fender Bender itself. Who wanted that? She didn't want that. I didn't want that. I don't know what she was already dealing with this day. You feel what I'm saying? She could have already been having a rough day, and here I come sliding into her while she thought she was just going to speed past me in the parking lot. And I believe she might have also been mad at herself. But what's my point? At the end of the day, make sure you're happening to life. That you're getting up and being proactive and saying, yeah, I'm gonna happen to life today. Yeah. We ain't eating no Reese cup today. You know what I'm saying? Wait. I think I finished it was a half of a cup. Okay. It was half of a cup, but I did have the half of a cup today. Okay. In 24 hours, I believe I knocked out 4 cups. Okay. You can judge me if you want to, but today was progress. Yesterday, I might have knocked out 3 cups. Today, 3.5. Today, we knocked out a half. Okay, that's progress. Happen to life. Be the type of person. We're talking about changing your mindset. It's not too late to change if you're a person where you always feel like life is happening to me and it's always life happened and this happened. It's like, okay, well, what did you do? If somebody walk up to you and hit you in the jaw, did you hit them back? I'm not promoting violence, folks. I'm just saying if life tries to knock you out, do you get up and say, all right, life, I got something for you as well. I got a plan. I got a vision. I'm not stopping. Endure the challenges. That's step number 3. Tip number 3. You feel me? Say we need to go back to nature, food, and garden. Man, I'm not mad at that. Like, I'm for real. My grandma used to have a garden. You know what I'm saying? Now I got DoorDash, okay? And that's the problem with the generations. Had one generation that was willing to go plant a tomato and a head of lettuce on the side of their house, and another generation that want the food to magically pop up by a delivery person in regular clothes in 30 minutes. Okay? God forgive me, but I do have the app. All right, tip number 4 for a successful 2026. You knocked off half the sweet potato pie. I can't even judge you though. You feel me, Sylvia? I can't. How can I judge that? Because that sounds good. And see, now if I knock out a slice today, I'm going to blame you. Not mad at it. That sweet potato pie be hitting. Tip number 4 for a successful 2026 as a believer, become a builder. All right. When I say this, become a builder, I want you to think of it this way. There is something that you're going to create, build, or do this year that God called you to do that does not exist today. That's something powerful to think about. Like, and that doesn't matter. When I talk about building, right? I wrote down some things to think about. It could be a relationship, a friendship, or a bond, right? And we're talking about building. You're taking something that it either doesn't exist or is not as mature or built up, is not as developed, and you're saying, I'm gonna take that and make it better. Look, you ever ride past a construction zone and it had a picture of what's coming soon? That's how I want you to think about tip number 4. You need to have in your mind the finished picture of what's coming soon. It could be a relationship, friendship, bond. It could be a habit that you're going to build, right? Maybe you're saying, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to read the Bible instead of scroll Instagram for the first 10 minutes of my day, right? And that could be a habit that doesn't exist today, but you're going to build that habit, okay? You could build a discipline, right? That can also be a habit or a discipline, but maybe that discipline is like, yo, I'm not knocking out 4 Reese cups in one day, okay? We're not going to do it. A savings account. Maybe there's a savings account that you don't have today or an investment account. You like, man, I don't have an investment account. I'm going to build that in 2026. And the reason that I want to encourage you to build something is because building something is like the manifestation of faith. It's like, yo, the substance of things hoped for, it's the substance. Like faith has substance. I mean, there's something there. And then you want to see that substance grow into manifestation and be like, yo, I remember when the seed was planted in my mind to have this account or to build this habit or to read the word instead of Instagram. And look, I've knocked out 60 days and I built this habit and I produced something. I've built something. We should all be builders in 2026. Plant a flower, build a home. What did I say? The goal is to find an area of your life where you can be productive. That's the goal for 2026, right? It's not about get rich quick. It's not about money. It's not about none of these unrealistic things that so many people want to convince you of on social media every day. It's about, can I become a builder? Like, can I actually build something? Can I take something that's not in a great place or doesn't exist today, and as we progress throughout this year, actually hone it, develop it, nurture it, and actually produce something, right? Become a builder in 2026, people. All right, what's the 5th and final step for a successful 2026? I put this one last on purpose. As somewhat of an oxymoron, maybe it's the rapper in me, maybe it's a contradiction. Tip number 5, keep God first. Now, this is simple but powerful. Why is this my last tip, to keep God first? I just told you why, because I just made it that way for no reason. I thought it would be nice to contradict. I thought it would have been kind of like cheesy to be like, the first tip for a successful 2026 is keep God first. So I wanted you to listen to the other tips, but then put the icing on the cake like this. At the end of the day, none of this other stuff matters as a believer if you don't have a foundation of Christ. And that needs to be the foundational mechanism within our mindset. Jesus Christ, the cornerstone, the first stone. He needs to be there. And we need that relationship in order. We need that fundamentally in place, that I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus Christ. He died for my sins. He is my savior. And the other things that I do in life in 2026 and the other things that my mindset is going to be built upon is going to be built on the solid rock and foundation of keeping the Lord first. So if I get into an accident with somebody and it's a fender bender and thank God I'm okay, I'm still going to act like a believer, right? And does it mean that I'm always floating around and I'm just saying the right things and doing the right things? No. It means that when I fall off, I remind myself when I fall off and you get in the word and you keep the right people and things around you that you become reminded like, oh yeah, you need to keep God first. We all fall short. It's never nothing different on this show. I'm never on a pedestal. I just like to say, I'm not better than you. I'm not just out here magically living the awesome Christian life that you can only hope for. And oh, my pictures or my videos are just so good and your life is so bad. No, that's not the case. I'm just a normal person, right? Nothing else matters if Jesus Christ is not our cornerstone. I'm going to leave y'all with a scripture today. Matthew chapter 21. We're going to read real quick. Let's see if I can actually share this because I want us to be thinking about the word of God. This is Matthew 21, verses 28 through 32, the parable of the two sons. This is the Christian Standard Bible. So this is Jesus talking in a parable, right? What do you think? I think that's interesting. What do you think? We're talking about your mindset as a believer. God wants to know what you think about stuff. Some of us don't realize we're getting our thinking from the world and not the word. So when your thinking and your mindset is all messed up, then everything else is out of whack. Jesus is asking, what do you think? Then he presents the story. A man had two sons. He went to the first and said, my son, go work in the vineyard today. All right. That son answered, I don't want to. That sounds like me sometimes, bro. I don't want to. But later he changed his mind and went. I want you to think about that. He didn't want to do it, but he changed his mind and went. It's not too late to change your mind. The world wants you to think that just because at one point you denied Jesus, at one point you made a mistake, at one point you were living in sin, you can never change your mind. Nope, you're too bad. You're a castaway. No. It's not too late. I don't want to say never. But later he changed his mind. Verse 30. The man went to the other side and to the other son and said the same thing. That son said, I will, sir. He answered, but he didn't go. Woo! See, some of us think that life is about your answer. It's really about your action. One answered no, changed his mind and acted and went. One actually answered, yeah, he said the right thing, but he didn't act. All right. Now, Jesus asked a question. He want to know what you think. I'm asking you, what do you think about this? Tell me, what do you think? Tell yourself, what do I actually think about this? Because that's what Jesus want to know, what your mindset is. Which of the two did his father's will? They said, the first. Jesus said unto them, truly I tell you, tax collectors and prostitutes are entering the kingdom of God before you. For John came to you in the way of righteousness, and you didn't believe him. Tax collectors and prostitutes did believe him, but you, when you saw it, didn't even change your minds then and believe him. Jesus wants you to change your mind. Now, here's the beauty of this idea of it's not too late to change your mind. If you are the prostitute, if you're the person that's promiscuous and you've been sleeping around or whatever your sin is, think of any sin you could think of and you like, yo, that like I'm just too messed up, bro. I'm in too deep. No. The reason that Jesus saying that these tax collectors and prostitutes are going to enter the kingdom of heaven is because once they heard the truth, they changed their mind. Yeah, you have these other self-righteous people that have the titles and they're dignified and all of these things, but the end of and they're saying all the right stuff. Yes, I will go. Send me, Lord. I shall go. Yes, God, I will do it. But then when it comes time to act, they don't go. What do you think? How do you think about that for your life? Am I just saying the right stuff? Am I just inspire God's people, inspire God? Am I just saying stuff or am I acting on it? 2026 is the year for some of us, all of us, in some way to change, enhance, grow our mindset, and to act on the things that we said we would do. You said you would go. Now go. Now, maybe you said you wouldn't go, and now you have an opportunity to change your mind. So if you said the right thing, then do it. If you said the wrong thing, then change it. But at the end of the day, regardless of who you are, bro, like this year, in order for it to be successful across any way you want to slice it, you want it to be spiritual, you want to be natural, no matter what way you slice this as a believer in your life, if you want to be successful, you have to change your mind. And in changing your mind, you always act on what you actually think. Now, I know, again, some of us think that people who say the right stuff are the ones who are doing right. No, 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 no. You act on your mind, not your words. Your words are important. I'm not saying words don't matter, but I'm telling you that when you say something, actions don't automatically follow. But when you think something, your actions follow. All right, I'm gonna give you an example. You ever thought somebody was getting smart with you? Huh? Am I talking to you? Huh? Yeah? Huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You ever thought somebody was getting smart with you? And you started immediately acting a certain way the moment that you thought it. That's the power of changing your mind. I'm trying to get people to change their mind because the moment that you actually think something and believe it in your mind, your actions will easily follow, like automatically follow. The reason some of us aren't actually changing stuff is because we don't actually think it. All right, I like to use money as an example. This is a business show. I'm a businessman in corporate America. I think y'all know that if you listen to this show. I love business. This is Faith in Business. I love talking about the business concepts and principles and how they've impacted my life. And also think there's a correlation between business and actually your spiritual success. I do. One of the things I know in business is that you can't be successful going into like a sales meeting if you don't believe you're going to be successful. Because what happens is you get in a room with other people and they can smell that lack of confidence, or they can smell the sleaziness of somebody who just says stuff that they don't mean. You ever had a used car salesman? No offense if you sell cars out there, but some of y'all are just kind of sleazy salespeople where I know you lying to me just from how your teeth look. Well, that was rude, but that's the first thing that came out. That's just what I thought about. Thought about this sales guy his teeth said he was lying. Okay, let's not be offensive. What's my point? Sometimes you thinking that you saying the right stuff and God believe you. You thinking God is like, yes, oh, well done, my good and faithful. God is looking like, I know you lying. You ain't gonna do it. And it's not until, look, Romans 12:2, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. I genuinely believe that your mindset is maybe one of the single most powerful tools in any of our lives. The way you think about something will change what you do about something. You get what I'm saying? But so many of us are more focused on, well, this is how I feel, or this is what I said, or this is what everybody else does, so I just do it. You haven't allowed yourself to change your mind. Let's think about, I use business, let's talk finances. The reason some people can't save $500, can't have $1,000 in the bank. Now, keep in mind, I like to give certain disclaimers because my intention ain't to offend nobody. And I would hate to offend somebody who this is actually for. So when I say this is what I mean specifically and directly. You're a person that has a job, that makes money, that has had $1,000 in the past 2 months. and just wasted it on the wrong thing. So don't, a lot of times you give examples and people start saying, well, what about this person or what about that? We're not talking about them. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. You got on Jordans. You're right now watching this video on an iPhone 17, bruh. I'm talking about you. You could have got the 15 and saved some money. My point is, some people will never actually save money or get good credit or things. It ain't because they can't. It's because they don't actually believe it in their mind. They haven't actually been convinced that it's the right thing to do or the more prosperous thing to do or that it makes sense, right? Now, I don't know why when there's all these examples out there, but I'm here to tell you it's not too late to change your mind. Last example and point before I get out of here. Let's say we can't doubt something that we remember. Woo, I love that. I love that. I'm anybody who knows me, not anybody, but a lot of people who know me know I'm very intrigued with how single people think today. I don't know why it intrigues me, but well, maybe I do, but it's a fascinating thing to me, the way being single looks from afar for adults in 2026 now. And sometimes I watch clips on YouTube and stuff of like people talking about relationships because I like to know how they think about them. And one of the things that I often see is like single people who have a way that they think about marriage or relationships that is completely flawed and is actually the reason why they're single. Now, I don't like talking about relationship stuff too much. People get offended about anything. My intention ain't to offend you, is try to like give you something to think about, which is I will watch people complain publicly about relationships. And, let's just say if you got a woman saying, oh, men do this and I can't stand this. And that's like their approach online. And maybe these women will think I'm beautiful or I bring all this stuff to the table. I think sometimes they don't realize like, yo, you're allowing these experiences to alter your mind and how you think about men to the point that what you're projecting would not ever be a fragrance that would attract a good man. Because I don't think good men are attracted to women trashing men. You get what I'm saying? So, and I understand like a woman could think that's like, maybe there's something in a person's mind that think like that's the way to go. But like, it's kind of like, well, men wouldn't do that. And then at the same time, you get like these men, I'll see clips of men talking about relationships and stuff. And they kind of talking about women like, women come a dime a dozen and there's nothing and I got this money or I got whatever. And I'm like, oh, he's never going to attract a wife. Like, he's never going to attract a wife because I don't believe in a godly marriage that's actually the mindset of a husband to hold things over his wife, like things that you're supposed to do. You're a provider. Don't get me wrong. You want credit for providing. You want to feel good. You want to feel appreciated if you're doing that. Just like a woman wants to feel appreciated for the things she's doing. These days, the woman could be the provider, right? So don't get so caught up in all of that. Y'all, people want to fight about everything. Try to get the point of what I'm saying. The point is that if I was single, I would more so seek the wisdom from people who are in the type of marriage I want to be in. So even as a married person, right? Like I told my wife this yesterday, I think. I was like, I really admire your grandparents. Well, why? They've been married for over 70 years. Now, to be married over 70 years also means you got married pretty young, right? Which I don't view as a bad thing at all. Legal, around the same age. Don't take that out of context. I feel like everything needs a disclaimer these days, bro. The world is crazy. My point is, when I see somebody that's been married 70 years, I want to know what they think about marriage. So when we go to family events or something and they talking, I listen. I don't ask questions. I just listen. When they talk, I listen. They have my ear. Because I want to know, like, yo, how do you make it, and they're believers, how do you make it in a godly marriage for 70 years? That's amazing. Now, would I want to listen to her grandparents, or do I want to listen to some guy on YouTube that's not even married himself? He's just a relationship guru, and he's a millionaire, so he thinks that gives him all the value in the world. Like the way we think and allow people to guide us is sometimes the reason why we're not successful at the thing that we actually want. Hopefully that made sense and didn't do the adverse thing and offend you. I don't even know if adverse is the right word in that instance. And for that reason, I'm going to start to end and wrap up today's show. Look, I appreciate y'all listening. Hopefully you have a blessed and prosperous 2026. If you like this show, please do like it and subscribe on YouTube. Inspire God's People. Just type it in on YouTube, Inspire God's People, and you could be a subscriber to this show, and you could be somebody that rocks with this show. And matter of fact, let me just show it on the screen. Let me go to YouTube so you can see like what it looked like on Inspire God's People. What's that about? Like, let's see, Inspire God's People. What do we got here? What? That ain't me. Hold on, bro. All right, there we go. What is that? Man, you gotta be careful these days. I want y'all to be able to see. Oh, this is kind of cool because I'm live right now. You might actually be able to see. I'm gonna share my screen. This is weird. I'm gonna share the screen of me. Bam. That's Inspire God's People. This is the page you'll see. Jermaine, a genuine, sincere, inspirational influencer on a continual journey of personal development, healing, and wholeness as he pursues his goals in faith, family, and finances. There you go. Inspire God's People. You can hit subscribe. And I do, we got playlists, daily inspiration playlists. We got podcast playlists. We do shorts. Here's the shorts. Look at that. Bam, bam, bam. We got all kind of shorts from all the episodes. So if you like this show, please do subscribe in those places. I hope you have an amazing year, amazing day, and that you reach those goals and accomplish the things that God has called you to accomplish. Let's see this last comment. When we receive the Holy Spirit, then the mind of Christ is able to function in our lives, and the kingdom of heaven God flows out of us. Amen to that. And we need the Holy Spirit. We need God guiding us in all these things. Man, day one, baby. I hope y'all have a great year, man. I hope this year is blessed. And look, I'm looking forward to knocking out I got some goals. I don't like to talk about too public. I just got my own goals that I'm kind of going after. And I pray that I continue to grow. You know what I'm saying? Y'all pray for me. I pray for y'all. We all just human on this journey and this walk with Christ, trying to share and learn from each other and learn from our mistakes and grow and, you know what I'm saying, mature and do the right thing. And hopefully leave a positive, lasting impact in this world, something that's meaningful. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell y'all one of my goals before I get out of here. One of my goals. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Happy New Year, Sylvie. Love your sister. Happy New Year to you and the fam. One of my goals, I'll share publicly. I want to, last year I released a project, music, Christian rap project called This Time Is Different. Check that out. This Time Is Different by J Will Music on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all those places, YouTube. And I love that album. It's a dope project. I actually started recording my next project, got the first song just about done. But I wanna do some live music. Now, I'm not talking about necessarily like being booked live unless you got a really dope situation. It's kind of challenging because I just took in a new role at work, an enhanced role, taking on more responsibility, larger customer base, larger team, which means more travel for business. And so it's really hard for me to try to fit in like doing live shows. But I want to do at least like some live pre-recorded, get with a live band, do some of the songs from the new project and release those as videos. So that's my goal. That's one of the things I'm putting out there. Now I feel like I really got to focus on that and do it. That wasn't even at the top of the list, but now I need to prioritize that because I said it. Y'all pray for me on that. I love music. It's a hobby. It's a passion project that I love doing, just creating as a believer. It also keeps my mind fresh for business because I can't just be business all the time, corporate all the time. Kind of I love, thank God for my corporate job and things that I do, but I have to do those things that you feel you created to do in order to feel alive. So, yeah, man. Oh, you say you just got here. My bad. What up, though? Simply Northern Belle. I think that's Stephanie is her name. What up, though? Just off the title. I think your name, I think you got Northern Belle somewhere on one of these sites. So I appreciate you. Yes, please go back and watch this from the top and hopefully it blesses you, yours, your family. I appreciate everybody who's rocked with me through the years for this podcast. I'm just continuing to build as well, inspire God's people. I'll share a little bit. I wasn't gonna share my personal. Yeah, I'm a private person, fam. But like one of my goals with this show is just consistency. And consistency doesn't mean every week or something. It means what I've been doing the last couple months, which is like, and part of consistency is not being discouraged or not focusing on like the fact that like, see, my vision for what I'm trying to build and have been building with this show, my vision is something that I know doesn't produce virality, right? It doesn't, like the kind of person I am and the way I think, it's not really alignment with the masses a lot of times. And so like I will know when I'm creating or producing something like, well, this ain't necessarily like if you want it to go viral, if you want it to blow this thing up, then it's a way. I'm a pretty skilled marketer. I'm a pretty skilled strategist in business. I'm like stuttering to give myself compliments. I don't want to come off the wrong way. But I am pretty skilled, at what I do in business, to be honest. And like I know there's things that I could do. I really feel like I could blow this stuff up overnight. But it's not what I'm called to do, right? And so sometimes it's a challenge to continue to do something when you're, instead of trying to reach a lot of people, right? That's like you're trying to reach as many people as possible. I'm going for depth. So I'm trying to reach you who's listening deeper than the other shows that you watch or listen to reach you. So that's my goal. It's not that I don't want more people or don't welcome more people. Is that that's not my priority, right? That's secondary to actually growing deeper with the person that does listen. If you listen to Inspire God's people, I want it to deeply resonate in a real and genuine way with you that actually produces positive results. That's my intention. That's somewhat of a different approach. Maybe it's the wrong approach. I don't know, but it is the honest way that I feel led to do. And so I just have to continue to focus on doing that, right? And doing it God's way. So I appreciate the people who rock with it. I appreciate the people who always listen, who always give comments or messages. Those things are super dope. It lets me know that I'm reaching you deeper, because the messages I get are like deep messages. They're not just like, hey, that was a great show. I get like life testimony messages, and that's dope. Like I'm not getting a million of them, but the ones I'm getting are like, they're deep. And that's what I'm striving for with this show is depth, substance. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to do everything the right way, but I'm striving to be genuine in what I put out into the world, and striving to create something that unifies believers instead of divides them, standing on one side over here or one side of this, or I'm this, or it's like, no, like we believers, bro. And I'm trying to think above the influence. I'm trying to do the things that I share with y'all today. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully you enjoyed this show. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have an amazing, amazing, amazing